Today's lesson is Chapter 5, Lesson 8, Multiplying Mixed Numbers. So, it's going to take basically everything that you know about fractions and use all of them. So, by the end of this lesson, what you're going to be able to do is this problem, 2 1/5 times 3 1/4. Now, a couple quick reminders. The first thing we need to know how to do is to turn improper fractions into mixed numbers and mixed numbers into improper fractions. So let's take a mixed number, 2 1/3, and let's make it into a improper fraction. Remember how we do that is we do 2 wholes split into 3 pieces. We do 2 times 3 is 6. So we're going to add, it's supposed to be plus sign, add 6 over here. So it's going to be 7/3. Now, if we want to go backwards on that, what we're going to do, 7/3. Now, how many times can 3 go into 7? It can go 2 whole times. So that would be 2, and 2 wholes split into 3 pieces would be 6. So we're going to take away 6 and we're left with 1/3. So that's how we go back to mixed numbers. So you're going to need to know how to do that to multiply mixed numbers. The next thing you're going to need to know how to do is you're going to need to know how to multiply fractions. So you would do, for example, on this problem, it's 2/3 times 2/5. All you have to do is multiply across. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 5 is 15. Is there any way we can simplify that? There is not, so that would be the problem. And then if we wanted to do, let's try one more like that. If we had a problem like 3/5 times 5/7, what we could do is, you see those 5s, you can divide them both by 5, so that'd be 1 and that'd be 1, and we'd be left with 3/7. So you need to know how to multiply fractions. Now, those 3 skills are all you need to know how to do to multiply those together. So we're going to do one practice problem before we get to this problem down here. So let's try 1 1/3 times 2 1/4. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get both of those numbers into improper fractions. So 1 1/3 as an improper fraction, we take 1 times 3 is 3, add the 1, so we have 4/3. And then we have 2 1/4, so we take 2 times 4 is 8, and we add it to the top there, so we get 9/4. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do some cleaning out here. What you would do in your notebook is just write it below. So that problem becomes 4/3 times 9/4. And what we can do is we can do 2 things. We can just multiply across, or we can use some canceling out. Now canceling out works really well in this problem. We could cross out the 4's, and then we could divide the 3 by 3 and the 9 by 3, and we get 3 over 1, which is 3. Otherwise, you could have just done 9 times 4 is 36, 3 times 4 is 12, and 36/12. And then we could have divided them both by 12. And we would have got 3 over 1, which is 3. So our answer is 3. So all you have to do for when you multiply mixed numbers, so the 3 steps for multiplying mixed numbers, and you can write this down, pause and write this down into your notebook. Number one, make mixed number into improper fraction. Second thing you do is multiply, and the third thing you do is turn the number back into a mixed number. So let's try one more, and then we're going to go to that problem in the lower left. So let's try 3 1/7 times 4 1/3. Okay, I want you to use your 3 steps, and I want you to pause and solve. Go. Okay, the first thing, step number 1 is make them into improper fractions. So 4 1/3, that'd be 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 13/3. And this 3 1/7, you take 3 times 7 is 21, plus 1 22/7. So I'm going to rewrite that. You can just do it below in your math notebook. So our problem becomes 22/7 times 13/3. Now this is kind of an ugly problem. Not a real nice one. I wasn't real nice to you guys on this first practice one. So then we're going to do, let's see, can 3 go into 22? I don't see that. Can 7 go into 13? I don't see that. So we're just going to multiply across. So 22 times 13, let's see, 6, 0, 2, 2, so it would be 286 over 21. Wow, this is not an easy one to do here. Now, one trick that I showed some people in class the other day is if you can't figure out how many times the bottom number goes into the top, just look at it like just look at it like a division problem, because remember, fractions are division problems. So, do 286 divided by 21. Watch this. 286 divided by 21. Uh-oh. Pause. I lost my train of thought. I got a phone call. Okay, anyways. 21 into 286. Let's see. 21 goes into 28 one time. Should be 21. It would be 76. 21 goes into 76 3 times. Now, so that means my whole number is going to be 13, because 21 goes into 286 13 times. Now, that's 3 times 21 would be 63. So that means what I'm left with is 13. So that means my fraction, what's left, is going to be 13. So it's going to be 13 21st. 21s. 21sts. Whatever, however you say it. Anyways, so I realize I just gave you a real hard one to start, but that's how you do it. Now, we're going to now do our problem in the lower corner, which hopefully will be easier on us than the problem we just did. In fact, I'm pretty sure it will be. So, our problem that we've been working for, 2 1/5 times 3 1/4. 2 1/5 times 3 1/4. Pause and solve. Okay, first thing we need to do is make them into mixed numbers. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 1, 11 fifths. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13 fourths. So now what we're going to do is a little bit of multiplication. So 11 times 13, that's going to be, ooh, I'm going to have to do that one. I don't know that off the top of my head. Actually, it'd be 143. Because if you did 10 times 13, it'd be 130, and then add one more. So it'd be 143 20ths. Now this one's a little more easy. Count up on your 20s. It would be 7 would get you to 140, so you would make that into 7, and then you would have 3 left. 7 3/20. So that's your answer. Now I'm going to give you one that you need to solve for tomorrow. The problem I want you to solve for tomorrow is 2 1/3 times 1 3/8. Solve that for tomorrow. Have a good evening or rest of the weekend. Rest of the weekend for my current students, evening for my future students. See ya.